Hello, Hermano. Thank you for coming into Talent Magazines.
Thank you.
We are looking at Hermano's work over here behind us. And the title of this painting is?
This one's called On Eagle's Wings.
And how does, you spent time in Mexico and it influenced some of your work. So when you come back and you're doing a lot of walls around this town, how does that all translate into what you're communicating to the general public?
I actually haven't. It's currently in process. I just got back, so it's definitely an influence in everything that I do. Just because when you live in a country like that, that's not your own, well, by blood, it's definitely brings something back into the current work. And so when I'm working on the new stuff, I try to continue to do and progress and do not what I did before, but you can't help it, it comes in. And so whether it's color, whether it's something you saw along the way, it's definitely hard to get out.
When you're painting a piece, what is the inspiration that comes into you? What's the muse?
The muse is basically a clear open channel that I don't focus on a specific thing, especially with this kind of work. It's all a freestyle that comes out, including color, movement, everything. And so I try to be as blank as possible. So I'm not focusing on one thing and letting basically whatever's coming through me be out, and I'm just kind of let's say, the vessel, So
when you're choosing the color, you said you go with the free flow on it. But there are certainly some influences of different cultures, different mixes on it. Like in this painting, you talk about the eagle being there. How did that all come about? Do you sketch something before you go on to it, or what?
Basically, it starts with just abstract lines. And most of the abstract original lines are still in it, so I'm not covering anything up because I'm not hiding what came out originally, and then I'm just working with the additional lines. The eagle concept doesn't really come out until, well, there was no concept until it gets like, I'd say 50 to 60%. Some of these lines start doing their work on your brain, and they start to attach, whether face or figure, animal or anything. And this one, for instance, you saw the shape of an eagle's beak or some sort of a bird animal, and then that's what brought about the rest to enhance it. So there was really no plan to make an eagle. So it's just reacting to what is coming out in the moment.
Now, when you're doing this work, you've been doing it for a while.
About 10 years.
So in 10 years, what is the satisfaction that you've gotten, the work that you would say, this is my best work?
That is a great question. The satisfaction I don't think ever gets reached, unfortunately, for myself as an artist, because, for instance, in the 10 years, even as of last year, you come to a point where you are embarrassed of your previous work, because for me at least, I feel like I'm growing constantly, and so I'm never going to be satisfied, just because there's always an internal judgment, an external judgment, and so I really can't explain that part. It's a battle. It's a struggle.
Art is an evolving process, and I believe that's what you're referring to when you talk about.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly.
What are some of the artists that have inspired you, or that have left an impression on you, that you would like to see something like them or some work like that?
Well, specifically what comes to mind is my original first strong influences were a local named Pete Betancourt. The guy's amazing. He's MC for the Cuff, Sacramento proud. But beyond that, outside of Sacramento, there's an artist named Inti out of, I believe, out of Chile, and Sekis. So those two, just their street art style, just completely mesmerized me and actually helped not form me, but just give me a base. Like I rooted myself in that, as opposed to, like, say, the European painters or the classics and things like that. I gravitated more towards untrained people, basically.
Where does you go from here?
I actually don't know. I don't have that map. It's kind of being given to me by the month. as I say, because it's just the way it's been from the beginning. I had no intention to ever paint, and it got laid on me somehow. It came to me, and then the next step, and the next, and so currently the step just brought me back to Sacramento, my hometown, and I'm gonna just stay here as long as it tells me to stay here. And
thank you very much, Hermano.